Afternoon. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all well. Stitch actually has a little visitor today who decided he wanted to be in this video as well. So I will just show you. So this is Barry. He's just decided to have a little nap here this afternoon. He's just decided to join us. Decided to join Stitch in our painting. How's everyone doing? How are you all? Are you all having a good afternoon? I've literally got on here by the skin of my teeth today, because my husband has been scoffing all of the Jaffa cakes, which, if you didn't know, is actually my favourite. It's my favourite. I love Jaffa cakes, and he's been stealing them all. So I've been trying to stop him from eating. Hi Vicky, hi Severin. I'm assuming that means Charlotte as well. Hello. How you all doing? Are you finding you guys are eating more? As I say, Ed's just like raided the snack cupboard. I think our food bill is going to be about 4 times the amount that it normally is. Are you eating more? Are you having lots of hi Cheryl? I know Ed, no, I know. I'll tell him off later. He's been eating all my Jaffa cakes. Hello, hi Cheryl, hi Mum. So yeah, how are you guys doing? Are you guys finding that you're eating more food? Are you not eating more food? What's happening in your house? Have you got certain people that have been eating all the snacks? Is that what's been happening? So nobody else can have them. What's going on? So let me just get you up on my Facebook so I can see you all as well. There we go. I can see all your comments. We got, oh, definitely Helen's definitely snacking more. Yeah, I'm definitely eating more at the moment. We will help Ed. Thanks, Casey. You're supposed to be on my side. That's not fair. Elaine's got a dark chocolate, so she's all good. Excellent. Well, if you're doing lots of beach walks, Helen, then you know the snacking's probably allowed, isn't it? More homemade cakes. Oh, homemade cakes are good. Hi Tabitha, hi Jocelyn. Hi Sue, nice to join you. Hi Rosie. So yeah, so I think I've probably definitely been eating more as well, but Ed's certainly eating me out of house and home. So today we're going to do a technique which is kind of wet on wet. So what we're going to do is use, hopefully you've all got an image to paint from. So the image I'm using today is this one here, which is actually by David Hockney on his iPad. It's an iPad drawing, which was sent to me by the lovely Jo. Thank you very much, Jo. I'm not sure if you're watching or if you're watching later. Thank you very much. She sent it with her weekend challenge drawings that she did for the hospital. So thank you very much. But this is what I'm going to use to draw from today. So the idea of wet on wet is that you completely and utterly soak your watercolour paper first. Now the beauty of doing this, like we did a little bit with the bird, where we dropped the pigment into the water, so you drop the paint into the water and it just spreads. A little bit like that. That's what happens when you soak the paper and then you paint on it. It will spread. So like I said yesterday, you will lose that control, which can actually make for a very, very beautiful, nice picture. So I'm going to try and bend you down so you guys can see my drawing, my painting here. Hopefully you can see it all. I'm going to have to go portrait for today. Casey, you're eating more cheese. See, cheese is normally a big downfall of mine, actually. We haven't got any in the house, so I've been saved. Oh, thank you, Amy. Weekend challenges on the way. So hopefully you've all got some kind of sponge or something like that. I found out today that we don't have any sponges in the house, so I am using a J-cloth. But the idea is that we're going to soak it completely. Melissa, oh, that's Charlotte. I'm going to paint Stitch. Excellent. Stitch today is doing a herbology course, if you can see. So he's taking samples of all the plants, and as I say, Barry's decided to join him today. So we're going to soak it. We're going to soak it completely. So get it nice and wet. Your sponge or J-cloth in my case, and you're just going to wet the paper completely. Now, what I would do with this is quite often I stretch the paper as well. So that means getting like gummed tape, and it means finding a board and things. So don't worry about that necessarily today. It will mean that your paper will start, actually mine's starting to do it now, starting to curve up a little bit. So you can use, you know, your water pot or different things to kind of weight it down in the corners while you're doing this. As I say, normally I would stretch it, but it would just involve getting too many things for you guys at home to be able to use this. Stitch is hilarious with his plants. I know, he's joining it. As I say, he's gone a bit Harry Potter mad this week. I think that is with the announcement of Harry Potter at home, which is hugely exciting for anyone that's bored at home and is a bit of a Harry Potter fiend. Adults and children alike. Wizarding World are launching a Harry Potter at home. So lots of different kind of quizzes and things going on there. So have a look at that. I'm going to use my mug to do this corner. Hope you guys can still see what I'm doing with my mug in the way. So I've completely soaked my piece of watercolour paper. Hopefully you guys are up to point with me. And I'm going to use my postcard here from the lovely Jo to paint from. So I'm going to might use some of the lighter colours here. And I'm just going to start with some of these trees. And what you'll see, I've got a nice thin brush here, but I've got a thicker brush as well if I need it. What you'll see is some of that colour disappearing into the paper, into the water. It just starts nicely spreading. There we go. I'm going to bring this one down here. And what you'll get is a finished piece that looks almost nothing like the original, which is quite nice, I think. But you're using it as inspiration, but you're actually going to end up with something very, very different. Hi, Kelly. It's just joined us. There we go. So can you see how it's just starting to spread into that water? What are you painting? I know Charlotte's painting Stitch. What else are you painting? Have you got some kind of floral arrangement? Are you painting another artist's work? What have you guys decided to paint? Tell me. What you're painting. I love this vibrant purple in here as well. What's nice with this is that these colours really blend as well. And as the paper starts to dry, you can start to add kind of more and more detail. Add a slightly different colour into there as well, because there's a little bit of red in there. So you're not going to get huge amounts of detail at this point. Sunflower. Oh, Imogen's painting sunflowers too. Nice. Nice. Amy's got some pink flowers. Excellent. We like pink, as you can see, my pink and purple over here. A butterfly and a woodland. Lovely. Actually, a butterfly would suit this technique really, really well, actually. Oh, hi, Nan. Just watching. Excellent stuff. I'm going to add a bit more of an orangey red in there, a bit more of a vermilion red. Needs to be coming down in lines there. It probably won't stay lines for very long. As I say, you kind of lose control with this. Now, if you can feel your paper starting to get a little bit dry, just wet it again in that spot that you're going to move on to. So I'm going to do this half first, and then I'm going to wet that bit. So I'm going to use some of this, and don't be afraid to mix up some of your colours. I mean, colour mixing is a whole different ball game, but don't be frightened to mix up some of those colours as well. So take some of your colours into your palette and mix them together. Get whole new colours out of it. If you feel brave enough. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you could do that. Vicky's got, oh, a fishing port. Oh, that would be interesting to do. This kind of coming over here. There we go. Then we've got a slightly darker green going in there as well. So can you notice how it's really starting to kind of spread, really starting to join together. It's really abstract, this one. It is a kind of abstract technique. But then once it's dried, you can go in with some more detail and things afterwards, if you wanted to add more. Painting from a Monet. Oh, perfect. Perfect for this kind of technique. Yeah, Monet's very, very, very impressionist going on. I think that's kind of perfect for this, actually. He's got these little, I don't know if you can see, these leaves that are kind of more like lines going down. They kind of almost look like palm tree leaves, I guess, or some kind of fern. So I'm going to attempt to do some of those, but they probably won't stay for lines for very much longer with all the wet paper. Maybe that's something I could add in afterwards when we get a little bit of depth in there. There we go. So I'm just going to bring this up to here, I think. Got some of that lighter colour in there as well. And again, nobody necessarily, I know you can all see this one now, but nobody's going to see your original image or whatever it is that you're painting from. So if you pick something out that you think, yeah, I really like that, or I don't like that, don't add it in. You know, add in the bits that you want to add in. So I can see there that that paper's starting to go slightly dry because it's starting to not spread. So I'm going to wet the rest of this paper before I add in any more on the other side. So I can add in here because it's nice and wet still. There's some lovely scribbly little lines going on there. Love the kind of mark making that's going on in this image, actually. It's beautiful. Look at how many kind of different textures he's using the kind of thickness, different thicknesses of the digital pencil as he's done it on his iPad. But also the kind of, just look at the marks that he's made in there. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Elaine, haven't got any paints yet. It's like I'm in your flat. You wouldn't want to be in my flat today. It's a big mess. You're seeing the clean and tidy bit of it. The rest of it's a little bit messy. How dry is this? Gone quite dry now. So I'm going to add some darker side of these as per Mr. Hockney. And then what I'm going to do is just rinse my brush off very quickly before my water gets any darker. And then I'm going to soak it. Actually, I've got quite a lot of water still in my J cloth there. So I'm going to keep soaking that. So don't worry if it gets dry. You can just re-soak it. What you don't want to do is get too close to this so that you end up wiping it all completely. Definitely don't want to do that. So get it nice and wet. I think we might work on this bottom bit for a little while. There we go. So let's go. Let's go for a bit of this and a bit of blue. So I'm going to add in this kind of weird bit of section of wall over here. And then this pathway seems to kind of disappear off into the distance behind the trees. So as I say, you can kind of add as much or as little detail as you want. Once it's dry, you can add more, or you might actually decide to leave it like that. You might like the effect that you've got. Let's add some this red in here. Beautiful colour. Love the way he uses lines to kind of accentuate where the path changes on this bit. Whether that's because of that tree growing under it, I don't know. Has anyone ever been to see any David Hockney work? In the gallery, there's some beautiful, his newer stuff is absolutely stunning. What Charlotte said, Stitch looks kind of weird. My Stitch or your Stitch that you're drawing? It will look weird because it's all spreading into this, into the water, into the soaked paper. So it's hard to control the shapes that you're going to get out of it. So don't worry if it looks a little bit weird. It will do. It's a very abstract version. An abstract version of Stitch that you've got going on. Okay, so I think I'm ready to maybe add some of this outline around this wall. So I don't know if you can see, but can you see there's just two kind of green lines going down over that path? They're very big, distinctive lines. So I'm not going to add those in until later, till after this has dried a little bit, so that we get more of those kind of distinct lines. So Charlotte said hers looks a little bit weird, her drawing. Does anyone else feel theirs looks a little bit weird at the moment because it's all abstract and you've lost control and it's all a bit blurry? Does anyone else find that theirs looks weird? Let me know. Because I suspect that you are not on your own, Charlotte. There we go. Bring this across, this will just outline it. Amy said yes, you're not on your own. It will look very weird and very strange for the time being. It will, I promise. Don't panic that it looks weird. That's what it's all about, is loosening up your style. Because sometimes we can be very, like with the drawing actually, you can be very easy and very quick to kind of focus down on one particular bit, but actually kind of bringing you out of yourself and letting it take control by itself, really, to get some very different results and very different techniques can work really nicely. So don't worry, don't panic. Right, so I'm going to add in some of these bits here. Some nice steps going up on this beautiful bit of building. Left bit of ruin or something, isn't it? It's gorgeous. Okay. So I'm going to try and tackle some of these other trees on this other side, which look a little bit daunting. Lots of lines, lots and lots of lines going on over there. Lynn, very weird, don't think there's any rescuing it. If I remember, Lynn, I think you said that about your bird as well, and it was beautiful. So don't worry at all. It will look completely and utterly kind of blurred and really odd to start off with, because you kind of lose that control. But the thing about watercolours is that you can build up those layers. So you can you either keep working over it while it's wet or let it dry and then add in some more detail over the top. Will really make a difference. So once it's dry later on, add in some more detail and see kind of how far you get and where you get to. Okay. And see how much of a difference it makes to it. Some very strong lines in the foreground here. And this really is, as I say, very much kind of your choice as to what you include in here. So do not worry. About missing bits out or not including other bits. I'm going to do his nose. This is going to be interesting. Let's stitch his nose. Oh, Charlotte, I'm so sure it's going to look great. Like I said, if you're really worried about it, let it dry and add some more detail in. Mine is a splat sunflower, but I like it. If it stops moving, yes, that's the other thing. That's the other thing about this, is that actually, if it's really wet, after it's dried, it can look completely different because it will continue to spread into that wet paper. How do I paint a white flower on a white piece of paper? So there's two ways of doing it. Either you paint a background so that you're left with that white flower image, kind of shape in it, or you can use either, depending on the photograph that you've got, either a very, very, very light blue or light bluish grey, or a very light yellow, but I would probably go towards the bluish grey to just outline where the shadow would be in that flower, rather than the whole thing, but just where the shadow would be. So just use a very light grey or light blue to draw a white flower on a white piece of paper, because that can be a tough one. Okay, so you guys kind of get the idea, you kind of get the feel for it. As I say, once it's dry, so like this bit over here is kind of quite dry now, I could add in some more detail. So I haven't added in that really light top to the wall, which is very, very straight. This is a very straight light green bit. So I can add in that now. With a little bit green, there we go. Now that it's dry, I can get that really nice straight line. On top of that wall. I'm just going to agitate it slightly so it's slightly darker on one side. There we go. So can you see now that I've let it dry, I've just added that line onto the top of it. Okay, so you can add that detail in if you really want a particularly straight bit. I was correct. His nose has made him look creepy, Charlotte. Well, that's maybe something that you could wait for. So that's maybe something, once it's dried a little bit, you could add the nose in afterwards, those specific details, maybe the shape of the eye in afterwards, to get that straight lines, those details. I should have thought about that before. So don't worry, we learn as we go along. I'm gonna carry on mine now, and hopefully you guys will carry on yours. If it dries out a bit, just make sure it's more wet. You can add lots and lots of water to this paper. It's so absorbent. Don't worry, I don't think you can really get it too wet, so don't worry too much about it. What do I have to do? Oh yes, so tomorrow we're going to be working on more trees. Actually, I've got a thing about trees at the moment, I've decided. Although today's wasn't meant to be trees, it was only that I was sent this. So we're going to do a summer tree tomorrow. So we're going to try and bring some colour in, and it really is going to be this big, beautiful, bold, colourful tree. Lots and lots of different colours in it. Lots of dabbing with paintbrushes, and trying to leave some gaps and things like that. Lots of dabbing. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So you'll need exactly the same stuff. You won't need your sponge or your J cloth. You'll just need the paints, watercolour paper, and a jar of water and your brushes. That's all you will need tomorrow. So hopefully, I can't wait to see what you guys have created today. It is a really a fun but a challenging technique, so don't worry about it too much. Charlotte, more greens for tomorrow. No more greens for tomorrow. It's going to be multiple colours. It's going to be a multicoloured tree, rainbow tree, if you like. So yeah, have a go. Let it dry out as well. Add in a little bit more detail if you want to. Hopefully it'll all look beautiful. Once you're done. I'm sure it will. Thank you so much for following, guys. Have fun, keep painting, keep creating. I'm sure that all of your images today are going to look stunning, so can't wait to see them. Have fun. See you soon.